Okay. Hey, everybody. Um, welcome to another series of A Wealth Planner and an Attorney Walks into a Bar. Today, or in the past, we have talked about the entrepreneur that's just starting out, the business owner that's just starting out, the business owner that's making 20,000 or so per month. And now you're making that money. We're going to talk about how you can spend to maximize your profits. And we got that thought from Kelly Thorpe, the Comments with Kelly CFO, that you spend money to make money. It's a concept that you've heard of. So today we're going to talk about how you spend that money and one of the ways that you do so. We're going to only be here for about 10-15 minutes. We try to keep it short. So today's way of spending money to make that money and maximize your profits is employee benefits. So employee benefits can be how much you pay your employees, having paid PTO, vacation days, etc. But what we're going to talk about today is 401k and 401k contributions, because our lovely Karla Ukman, she actually helps business and business owners set that up. And so we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about doing it in such a way that you do not end up discriminated against your workforce. So I guess before we get started, we should do introductions because I always forget that part. I just want to start talking.
You know us by now, people, right?
I know, like we've been here a number of times, so you should know who
Right.
we are. But for those that don't know, my name is Patrice Tisdale, known as Tracy Tisdale on Facebook. Um, I am your chief legal strategist. I work with business owners to help them leverage the law to their advantage so that they can take full advantage of it. They have a fully vetted path to their contracts and their goals, and they do so like billionaires do, but without spending the billions. I offer my services on a flat rate subscription basis. So it's monthly recurring. You know exactly what you're going to be paying for it. And that allows you to have me involved in your business decisions to avoid, we can be out here ducking and dodging the legal issues that are going to come up because we've been involved in. We look at things in the future, right? And we plan accordingly so that you can, stay in your zone of genius and do what you need to do, and I'll find the path to get you there. And Karla?
Hey everyone, I'm Karla Ukman. I am founder and wealth planner of Artemis Wealth Management, and I am not your father's advisor. And what does that mean? That means that I work with women and historically excluded communities so that they can build wealth their own way in a safe space. And I believe that providing financial education in all things money can really make sure that we are changing generations to come. And the services that I provide, I have financial planning, which really covers all things financial for you. And one thing that I do as well that Patrice just talked about is I am flat. I do not charge hourly either. So that is one of the things that we both have in common with our clients. I also have wealth management, so investments and insurance and estate planning and tax planning. And so those are some of the things that I offer, and I do it in a way that is all about education and why are you doing certain things
Mhm.
with your money. And I do not just tell you, I give you, all the resources for that. So that is who I am.
Yes. So today, as we said, we want to talk about 401k, specifically 401k benefits. And how do you, as a business owner, decide, is it time for you to do so? Do you need certain amount of employees? Could it just be you? If you have the employees, what does it look like to actually set it up, etc. And things that you should consider. So Carla's going to talk about the how you go about doing so, some of the things she goes through, your options, and then I'll be talking about things that you should consider so that you stay out of discriminatory complaints water, or at least you try to.
Yeah.
Yes. Go.
Yeah.
Carla, go ahead. How? Go ahead.
So,
Sorry.
one thing that we want to make sure that we talk about is, when do we get this 401k plan for our employees? And I have a lot of business owners that come to me and they say, okay, well, when is it appropriate? And you can have one employee and yourself, you can have, 50 employees, and there is no, minimum when it comes to employees. So again, you can have just one or two employees. And one of the things that you want to think about as being a small business owner is how are you keeping your talent? And one of the ways is providing benefits. And,
Mm-hmm.
Patrice talked about that earlier, listing all the benefit packages. Well, 401k is something that is going to keep talent at your business. And so when I'm talking to business owners, they're like, well, is it appropriate or not? Once you start making a profit, you're paying yourself and you're also paying your employees. That is something that you should really consider, because it also helps in, the taxes for the business as well. This 401k plan helps mitigate your taxes as the business owner. And so
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times people also try to say, well, you need to make this certain amount in order to set up a 401k plan. That's not necessarily true. You want to work with myself and someone like Kelly Thorpe, where you're a fractional CFO, and we all work together and say, okay, this is how much money the business can contribute to a 401k plan. And there's a lot of different ways that you can structure 401k plans. The main thing that you have to think about before you even start thinking about the structuring is who can participate. So, who can participate in a 401k plan? You have to be at least 21 years old to participate. Sometimes you can lower the age to 18, and you could include part-time or hourly workers. But that is something that you would want to speak to someone like Patrice and myself and your fractional CFO before you start including 18-year-olds. You also have a length of time that someone has to work at your business in order for you to even start contributing to the 401k plan. So that person, though, can start contributing, but those matches that you would hear about, you have to either be at that company for either 90 days or 1 year. You can determine that as the business owner.
Okay.
But
That's what I was gonna ask. Okay.
yeah, you can determine that, but it has to be seamless. You can't, and Patrice will talk about this more in the discriminatory, but it has to be for all participants. You can't just pick, well, this person, I really like them and I just hired them and I want them to, stay with me. I'll let them contribute to the 401k and get my matches at 6 months, and everybody else, has to wait a year. It has to be for everyone. You have to select that when you open up the plan, and it has to be, either 1 year or it can be 6 months, but it's for all employees. So you have that, and then you also have different ways of that the employer can contribute. So you can do profit sharing. So depending on how much money the company makes, determines how much you put into the 401k and you match for your employees. There's also a percentage. So this way is determined by how much income someone makes, and there's a percentage. So for example, if someone makes 30,000 in your business and you say, okay, I want them to be able to contribute and I want to match. So they can contribute 3%, and you'll match up to 3% or 4%, however that goes, and you can change that percentage of matching depending on how much people make. And that's where we have to look at the whole discriminatory as well, because if you start making these percentages different for different earners, that can run into some issues. And another thing is that you can have your 401k pooled with all your employees, and you can also take yourself as the owner out, and you could also have higher earners. So, like vice presidents, co-owners, they can have their own 401k, but again, you have to make sure that it's done properly and it's not discriminatory towards other employees in your business.
Yeah. So, as Karla has touched base with a lot of the where the issues may come in, the root of it, you start looking at what is the salary that you've decided, or what's the pay that you've decided to pay individuals. Because if you're going to do something where you are matching based on a percentage, and you actually, so like when Karla is setting it up, for example, she's not looking necessarily at the employees, the employees, sex or color or ethnicity. You're just giving her the numbers in terms of what
Mhm.
the employee's making, and she's going to,
Yep.
do her analysis and make her decision from there. I would be the one coming in to say, okay, let's talk about how you're going to set your income for the, especially if you have different groups, of employees. What are you paying your admin staff versus what you're paying, your professional staff? And within those pool, how are you making the decisions as to who's making what? And I know it's very common for people to have merit-based increases when it comes to pay. That's where a lot of issues can come in. So when you're looking at your 401k piece, as she said, if you're going to be, especially if you're doing it as a matching system, you have to look to make sure that the pay scale and the pay, your decision in salary makeup does not have a discriminatory impact. So a lot of people be like, I don't discriminate. I'm not thinking about whether or not this person is black. I'm not thinking about, if they're a woman or if they're LGBT. Like, I'm paying you based on what the business can afford. And that may be so, but every now and then you should take a step back and look at your workforce, look at the diversity that's in your workforce, and look at the pay diversity as well. And is it having an impact on, different groups? So again, there doesn't necessarily need to be the intent behind it. You're looking at how is this impacting, the women working in your office, or how is this impacting, the males working in your office, because it could fall into that, into that category, as that they could be discriminated against as well. Usually that doesn't become an issue until there's another issue that comes up. And then, someone like me, an employee side, attorney that's going to come in, we're going to start digging, right? And you're going to start looking at different aspects of it. And that's where those things are going to pop up. So it's not necessarily something that's going to happen just on its own. You have to look at the full, at the context of it. So again, your pay structure, the 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 overall view of your employee, of your workforce, and how is that pay structure divided? Can you see distinct patterns that is not, tied to a objective, factor, that you can say, here's why this person is getting this pay, here's why that person is getting, another pay, especially if they're doing the same job. um, Another option, I think Carla touched on it, when you're doing it, to avoid some of that, especially as you're starting out, doing just a flat contribution, right? Saying, okay, if our profit is this, everybody gets this, the X amount, contributed to, to their plan. So it's something that there are intricacies behind it. There isn't, like a hard and fast, black and white line to say one way or the other. But as you get to that stage in your business where you are starting to implement, additional benefits, you're starting to think about your, vacation policies, your employee, other employee benefits. These are some of the things that you have to look at and think about while you are implementing these. As Carla said, like, you set a policy, you know, especially the 401k sense, you're setting it across the board. Your 401k, the administrator is just going to apply it to everybody that comes in. So you have to make sure the impact of that policy isn't discriminatory, because again, you won't find out unless there's another issue that comes up. Then that becomes, this becomes a secondary piece that you have to deal with. So we're
Yep.
gonna leave it there. Unless Carla, you can add, because we can keep going. Like this can become a world home, a blah, blah, wormhole. Thanks.
Wormhole, yeah.
Yes, like we can keep digging and keep going because there's so many pieces to it, and this is why it's important that you do have a team around you that they have their various pieces of expertise. Carla knows how to set that up. She knows, looking at your numbers, um, she can say, okay, as the owner, yes, you may pay a penalty to have your own, owners, founders plan, but it may be worth it for XYZ reasons.
Hmm.
Kelly's gonna come in and be like, ah, yeah, your numbers supported our your numbers don't support that, stay in the employee pool. And then I'm gonna come in and look at the overall portion to make sure that there isn't, certain claims that could be made, because then you don't want to spend time fighting unnecessary legal battles. So
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. This, I couldn't have said it better myself because no, exactly. Like we could go down a wormhole. So thank you for sharing that because it was actually eye opening for me as well because I don't, like you said, I don't see all that. I see the salary and that's it. And so when we were talking about doing this live, I'm in the industry and I didn't even think about the possibility of the people, discriminating against their employees. And it's not that they were doing it on purpose, like you said. So
mhm,
thank you for sharing this because I think this is super, super important.
mhm. Yep, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
Every now
So
and then I got a little I get that little spark of genius. I'm joking. But no, it's something. This is why the team, it's so important to have a team as a business owner walking through this. And it's not that you
Mhm.
will, you may outgrow certain aspects of needing a team or certain aspects of your team, but it's always
Yeah.
good to have a team as you're moving through your stages, and whoever those players are, you can switch them out,
Hmm.
based on the various portion, the where you are in your journey. As
Yeah.
Carla and I have said before, you don't need to necessarily know yourself, right? You can reach out to one of us and we can either say, nope, you don't need me yet, but go talk to this person.
Hmm.
And we have a network, for amongst ourselves, and um, that we can reach out to. So
Yeah.
reach out if you need to, even if you're not sure, you're like, I've been thinking, I'm not sure. Um, you know, I think my business is there, et cetera. Reach out to us and we can help direct your path. So Carla, how can they reach you?
Yeah. So you guys can DM me on Facebook or LinkedIn at Karla Ukman. You can also click the scheduling link in both of my profiles and schedule a free 30-minute consultation. And you can also visit my website at artemiswealth.net and check me out and schedule a time and we can chat. And so how can everybody get a hold of you?
So the same. You can reach me through DMs on any of the platforms where you're seeing this. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can, message me. You can go to reallawesq.com or just search Tisdale Legal Group. It should pop up. And we can, schedule time on my calendar. We do a complimentary, 15-minute discovery call so we can see whether or not, and even in that call a lot of times I could say no, it's not, you're not there yet, or I'm hearing some stuff, let's talk a little bit more, based on your operations. So that's where you can reach both of us. We are also going to be doing a masterclass at the end of this month. This is
Hmm.
January, so at the end of
Yeah,
this month,
we're
it's
in
going to be the
January.
I know. Um, it's going to be the fourth Wednesday, correct? Yeah,
Yes.
I believe the
Yeah.
fourth Wednesday. We will put the
So
link in the
yeah.
in the comments. So
Yep.
fourth Wednesday of the month, and we will repeat it monthly. So you may see this live in April and we're still saying January, but it will be the fourth Wednesday um, of the month that we will get into, more of the details about this, and you can come with your questions. So
Yeah.
DM us on whichever platform you're watching, or look out for our pages for when we post a link, for a masterclass. And the masterclass is free. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Masterclass is free.
All right. Well, unless you have anything else, I'm ready to
Nope.
do my bye hands.
Bye. Bye,
All
everyone.
right. Bye, everyone.